Okay. Welcome to this next episode of Marshallese language lessons. Today we're going to talk about how to tell time. So we can see that yen, torre, allen, kapten, these all mean time. So let's jump into this a little bit. Let's figure out when to use each of these different words, different ways to tell time. Uh, so we'll first start by telling you in the Marshall Islands, if you go to an event at say 6 o'clock, say it's a funeral or ilomed, something like that, uh, there's something that they like to call agua en mayo, Marshallese time. And if you show up at 6 o'clock, you're gonna definitely be the only person there, and you'll have plenty of time to chat with the boo-boos, the grandmas. But for the most part, no one else is gonna really be there for quite a while. So Owen Maj will probably just show up 8:30, something like that.
Yeah, when I was there for the first few months that I was there, I wore a watch. And then I got to a point where I was just like, I'm not gonna wear a watch anymore because it doesn't matter.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
All
Cool.
right.
Well, you want to jump into some of these?
Yes. So hour is like hour or o'clock. So if you want to say like, oh, like it's 3 o'clock, for example, you literally just go jilu hour, and that's 3 o'clock. So you put whatever number and then hour after to mean whatever o'clock you're talking about. So it's pretty simple, right? Hour. And then Gmathan is this word that means like half. So if you want to say like 3:30, for example, then you just do number and then Gmathan. So pretty simple, but pretty great. All right, now let's get into the times. AJ, do you want to break these down? Because they
Yeah.
all have the
Well,
same meaning.
I'll break these down. So En is going to be probably the most common what we think of the word time. You're usually just going to say En. Uh, so how much time does it take to do this or something like that? Use En there. I'm going to skip Tere for just a second and jump to Allen and Katan. Those two words are 100% interchangeable. Is that right, Josh?
Yeah.
Same word. So, like times, like how many times have you done this? Jete, which means how many? Jete Katan. Jete Allen. How many times? Means the same thing. And then Tere is a is like good. We've had some good times here. That's kind of when I would use Tere. Um,
Yeah.
or anything to add on Tere?
Yeah, I think that Ian and terrain are pretty interchangeable. Often, like terrain, like this time or like these times you would use. So like those are pretty interchangeable, and Alan and Captain are pretty interchangeable generally. So it's like time as like the abstract sense is like Ian and terrain, like oh like we're in this time, but then Alan and Captain are like more specific, like oh that time, or like I went to the store 3 times, right? It would be like Alan or Captain.
Exactly. Cool.
Awesome. And then let's talk about like times of day because with hour and module, like the hour, the specific hour is almost less important than just like the times of day. So if it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night. So chipong would be morning. Rylip would be afternoon. Jota would be evening. And then bong would be night. And for those people, for those big backs out there, for those people who care about food, um, Mungai and Jipong would be like breakfast. So you just put Mungai in front of it. It's just like the meal of that time. So Mungai Rylap, lunch, Mungai Joda, or kajota would be dinner or supper.
Yeah. Yeah, good call out there. Then a couple of greetings here taken from English. Morning uh is good morning.
Hmm.
Good night is good night. Really complicated stuff there. You can throw on a wedge, morning wedge, like as we talked about in a previous video, if you've seen it means like to you, morning to you. Morning wedge. Uh, and then what we have here, even at 3 p.m., you'll hear people say good night. And what they mean by that is like good night. This is the last time I'm gonna see you today. So like have a good rest of your night because like I'm not gonna be seeing you anymore today. Um so yeah, morning wood, good night. Uh and then Jimerok, not as like common as far as like a greeting. You're not gonna hear that.
Yeah,
But just means dawn, so like really early before the sun is really up. So yeah.
awesome. And talking about before, so it'd be mokata. Mokata is before. So, and then often we'll pair it with the gen. So, like before from something. So, mokata gen. So, like, for example, I would say, if I were to say, like, oh, before I go to America, it would be like, mokata gen ao talangan America. Um, Pretty easy. And so you'll notice that, like, with mokata and elegant, if it's like talking about something that I'm doing, like before I do something or before you do something, before a person does something, we'll actually use possessives there. So that's an important thing to know is like possessives are very common after these. So elegant after. So like elegant ao talangan America after I go to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just I just want to mention with that sentence, like you might be tempted when you're first learning to say, first of all, you might forget the gen before from. This is a little unnatural for an English speaker, but you also might be tempted to say each because each means like I am, I present tense. But as Josh said, make sure you change it to possessive. So the literal translation for his sentence was before from my go to church. So a little different. Yeah, that's a good idea, just so we can see it. Before from my go to church, rather than before I mogada ij etalanganjar. That won't make any sense, even though that would seem like it would be correct for like an English speaker.
Yeah. Awesome. Great notes. Then we have ilo. So that would just be ilo is very versatile. It means like in. Um, it's you can use it for a lot of different things, but it's also probably the best way to say during, like like during while you are at church or during church would be just like ilo jar or ilo am jar. So yeah, ilo super important.
For sure. Okay, and then we'll jump to some other words. Jayaman means like way before, like a long time ago. Uh, you'll often hear them kind of you notice that we put two E's there at the beginning. They'll kind of hold that a little bit. They'll be like, damn man. That's kind of how they'll pronounce that word often. Um, Eto can be used in a similar fashion, but it kind of has more meaning there, like anciently, like Kajineto means language, ancient language. Um, so Eto anciently or just a long time ago. Um, Josh, what was that other use we were talking about before?
Yeah, so even like let's let's go to like Ewiton for a second. Like this toe and this toe are related. So like it's like length, like how long is it? So Ewiton, let's say like Ewiton bed Ilo Island Lapalap. We could say like, oh, eto Albed Ilo Island Lapalap. So it's just like it could even be like, oh, it's been a long time my staying at Island Lapalap. Or in English, we just say like, I've been here for a while. So yeah,
Sure.
it can be that too. Like, oh, ancient times or just like a long time as well.
Sure. Yeah, elukunto up at
Yep.
like it's been such a long time. So it doesn't necessarily mean ancient ancient times.
Awesome, awesome. And then that this last one, Jeteawa, is what time is it? So I remember every time somebody would ask Nielsen what time it was, Jeteawa, he'd always say some obscure time that was not correct. So don't ask him. But for most people, you can ask Jeteawa and they'll tell you. And for the most part, they don't really care about the minutes. They literally only care about like the hour time. So it could be 3:59 and they'll still be like, oh, Jiluawa, like it's 3 o'clock, even if it's literally about to be four. So
For sure. Yeah, I forgot that I did that to people, but
yeah.
that just shows that they're not really thinking about. I would always tell them like 2 or 3 hours, like something believable, and they always believe it because like Josh was saying, they don't really care with the exact time. They're just like generally give me like the vibe of what time it is, and that they always believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, it was just a fun prank, I guess.
But cool. Yeah. So hopefully this makes sense. Hopefully we kind of encompass the topic of time in Marshallese. If you have any questions, leave a comment. We'd be happy to reply to it. Yeah, and subscribe to our channel. Give this
Yeah.
video a like. Thanks for checking it out.
Spam the comments with Awa and module. Spam the comments with your questions. We want all the comments in the world. All right, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, Raman.